Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Waylon Walker, and around here, we do data in the terminal. This week I got a question from Gilius in the comments from one of our last videos, and Gilius asks, would love to see some more. It's very rare to see NeoVim plus data science. Also, can you make a video detailing what a data pipeline is? Practical examples are great. Great video, man. Well, thank you, Gilius. I appreciate the feedback there. Appreciate the comments. If any of you have a comment, leave it down below and I'll try to get to it. You might notice here that we're rocking a new background this week. VimConf is coming up. I'm giving a talk next week, next Friday, October 29th. Make sure you be there to check it out. So on to Gilius's question. What is a data pipeline? A data pipeline is pretty much just a series of transformations to some data. This can be as simple as a bash script where you pipe some text along and it goes through a series of small transformations until we get the output we're looking for. In my work, a lot of times we do this with Python and pandas, and this can be any large or small transformation. We break up our pipelines into small nodes, and those nodes will output some data sets, and those nodes will input and output some data sets. I'm using a framework called Kedro, which kind of abstracts away that file I/O for me. So I just write a catalog and I tell Kedro, this is the type of file we're dealing with, and this is where it's located. You just load it up for me and give it to my function. My function then will just get a pandas data frame. I can make a small transformation to it, kick it back out to the catalog and tell it, please save this where it goes. And then the pipeline will come in and it'll take these pile of nodes. Because we've given it all the inputs and outputs, it knows what order everything needs to be applied. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example pipeline here. This is just the Kedro Viz standard pipeline. So if you go to their GitHub at Kedro Viz, click this link over here, that will get you up and running. So you can see here, there's a bunch of nodes. Those nodes are depicted by this F here, and they output data sets to these little oil drum looking things. You can see these can be pretty large pipelines. They can be small pipelines. As you're working on a larger team, it's easy to break out tasks that require each person on the team to modify a specific node and contribute back to the main pipeline through a PR. If you're working in just a regular Jupyter notebook, it makes it really hard to do this collaboration. Everything is in a single file, and there's one person that checks out the file and works on it. And since it's not in plain text, it's really hard to integrate with Git and do merge conflicts. The pipelines here are all just Python text files, so they work with Git fantastically. Everybody can work on their own feature and merge it in. One thing we might notice here is they've broken this pipeline up into individual layers. We can see them listed out to the left here as raw, intermediate, primary, feature, model input, models, and model output. On a larger team, you might have some people designated as data engineers and some people designated as a data scientist. Typically, your data engineers will take over this raw, intermediate data cleansing type of step up through primary, where we're doing some steps such as like making sure all the data is of the right type. Strings are strings, numbers are numbers, things like that. And then down into the feature engineering step, where we'll create a series of features that the data scientists are going to use to create models for us. And then the data scientists take over, create models with this model input layer. Kedro is not the only framework in town, though. There's other frameworks such as Apache Airflow, Luigi, Dagster. Those are just some off the top of my head. I really like the Kedro framework because it's just Python. I can run it on my local machine and I can deploy it about anywhere. In fact, they have deployment options for Apache Airflow, for AWS Batch, SageMaker, and Docker. So you can just package this thing up in a Docker container and put it on whatever hosting service is out there. And really, these things don't even need to be a part of a framework. They can simply just be a Python script that takes a set of pandas data frames, transforms them along the way, and outputs something that provides value to your team. As far as examples, I don't really have anything too concrete for you. The Kedro team here has some examples. They have the spaceflight tutorial, an Iris dataset. In industry, it's used for a lot of BI type of solutions, just helping people make business decisions with complex data. Maybe it's made to create recommender systems, anything like that, anything you can imagine. Or maybe you need to do some pull in data from a lot of different places, do some feature engineering and some model building. Anyways, that's my view. It's not anything too complex. They're pretty simple. Anybody can build them with just a little bit of know-how. In my case, I'm using Python and pandas. Make sure you check out VimConf this year. I'll be giving a talk there. It's next Friday, October 29th.